Hey everyone, this is Tony Salazar with Galaxy Buster TCG. I am making this deck profile to, show off my, giant pile deck that I got 16th place at the Columbus Regional with last weekend. The deck, I thought the deck was very solid. I thought the deck performed really well. I had some unfortunate draws. It's my second to last round, which has got me knocked out of top 8 contention. Um, Very weird suboptimal hands, and it was just unfortunate. Uh, but I think overall the deck was good. My other loss was to a random Super Quant player. He ended up getting ninth at the event after going 6-0, starting the tournament and losing his last 2 rounds, kicking him out of top 8 as well. Um, so everyone was just losing to that guy apparently that weekend, except early on at least. But this is the list. The deck is obviously 60 cards, giant pile. It's Spright, Azamina Fiendsmith, Adventure, with like 18 non-engine. The theory behind the deck is that I really enjoy playing Spright. It's my favorite archetype. I guess in the past, since Poe, it's my favorite archetype. Obviously, once Yummy comes out, I'll probably be living Yummy, but it's my favorite archetype. That's come out in a really long time for Yu-Gi-Oh, and I've been playing since 2011. So I played this deck. So this deck's central idea is that every single engine in this deck can get you an Omni Negate. The Fiendsmith cards can get you a Desiree. The Azamina cards can get you Illa Sylvia. The Adventure cards get you Griffin, and then Spright gets you into Toad. And obviously Toad's a negate. So the idea is that I want to have infinite follow-up. The Azamina cards are follow-up, the Brave cards give you follow-up, the Fiendsmith cards are also follow-up, and Toad adds back Beaver, which gives you Spright follow-up. So the idea is to always have follow-up. The idea is to make at least 2 or 3 Omni Negates going first. The deck also has the advantage the deck also has is that in Yu-Gi-Oh, most archetypes, like we don't really have a resource system. We have hard once per turns, and a lot of the games like resource management is to manage the hard once per turns in your deck. So the advantage of running 4 completely distinct engines is that the hard once per turn limits on cards do not typically apply to you as much as they apply to others. So like if I'm playing against like Pure Ryziel, they have Ext, Sword, Node, and Ice. Each one of them has a hard once per turn on the summon and a hard once per turn on the search or like summon, or on their actual effect. So once they've searched with all the names or summoned all the names once, I know I no longer have to worry. I just have to make sure that it's really easy to keep track of the resources that they have available to them. Sometimes the deck like Pure Rise will run like Big Jaws, or like Mitsu will have other hard ones per turns, but you get the idea that. So this deck just kind of wants to not deal with it. That's kind of the idea, the theory I had for the deck from the beginning. I also wanted a deck that would have a decent plan B into a Charmy or into Droll, because those cards are everywhere, and this deck I think has that. So I guess but I can explain a little bit more once I talk about the deck a little bit more. So, or show you some test hands. So this is the deck. It runs 3 blue, 1 jet, 1 red, 3 starters, and those are the actual Spright cards in the main. Blue is the best one. It searches the others. It searches extenders. It searches bodies. It's the best one. Jet is a 1 jet because I only run 3 starters. I didn't want to play Smashers because Smashers. It's not I'm not playing a pure Spright deck, so I don't always have a 2 in grave or in field to banish for it. So I felt bad doing that. It also felt bad. And Double Cross is a brick going second, and it has the same issue as Smashers in this deck. It kind of depends on that I get to play. So you run 3 Beaver and 3 Angler. Angler is the best card in the deck, and I can explain a little bit later why it's the best card in the deck. It just is the glue that makes this deck work. It's actually the whole deck is based around this 1 card. So it has the effect of whenever it's sent from hand or deck to the graveyard, special summon up to 2 level 3 or lower Nimbles from deck except himself. So usually it'll just summon Beavers in this build, but it's really easy to get this card in the graveyard from hand or deck. mostly from hand specifically, but it's really easy to get into the graveyard. So this is like the deck's built upon. Swap Frog gives you Toad access. It also, if you draw it with Angler, it's broken. If you draw it with the Water Girls, it's also broken. Discard Water Girl, special summon Swap Frog. Then you send the Mirror, the Ice Barrier, the Mirror Mage. That'll give you access to the Freezing Chains. So that is and this will revive this, give you access to Toad. And then since you special summon Swap Frog by discarding Water Girl, you're actually not locked. You haven't like limited yourself from activating right. So you can banish Water Girl, add right, activate right. Then you have token, and you have adventure stuff happening. Also, Swap Frog discard Angler to special summon itself. Trigger Chainlink 1 Angler summon Chainlink 2 Swap Frog descend. So you chain block your summons, and then you can do. Then you have Spright cards, and you have a Toad coming, and you actually get Toad at summon 5, so you're free to play with the other cards. So like I say, the 3 Water Girl, it's the best card in the adventure package. You are Griffin Rider, the 3 Rights, Faithful Adventure, and Draco Bank. These are bricks, but also engine requirements. But you do have to run them. Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is Water Girl, or it is Angler. It's not really Fiendsmith cards in this build, unfortunately. I can explain more when I talk more about the Fiendsmith cards down later on in the profile. But that is a showdown. But even then, you weren't foolish burying Fiendsmith cards anyway in any build, even decks that play a bigger engine than I do. End of Anubis. I could probably leave this one towards the end. I'll probably just move it there and I'll explain it in a bit. So then you run the Azamina package. Diabellstar the White Witch, Wanted, Deception, and the Hallowed Azamina. So, for the purposes of my deck, Diabellstar, Wanted, and Deception are the exact same card. They're the exact same card. Obviously, Wanted and Witch are better than Deception, but they all lead to the same place in my deck, and I can explain like the lines later. The Hallowed Azamina is like the one, I guess, is like a brick, sort of. It's not a hard brick. Like if you open this and like one of the Sinful Spoils cards, it still works as a card. But you obviously rather get the card for free. So there's that. Then your only Fiendsmith cards in the main are Lacrima and Engraver. Because of this, Engraver is sort of a brick in your hand. You don't want it. You usually have to find a way to discard it or send it to grave somehow, or get it back in your deck or whatever. You have to get rid of it. You can't really use it from hand. You don't run Tract or Lurie or any more of the Fiendsmith cards because I never really wanted to use the Fiendsmith cards from hand. I never wanted to use. One, I hate drawing Lurie. It also plays harder into Droll, and this deck already does. This deck can sort of play into Droll, but you really don't want to get Drolled. And if I activate Engraver, add Tract, and I get Drolled on that, I think my turn ends, because like I'm not going to do Deception things, I'm not going to do Adventure things as well. The Sprites are all turned off, so it's just another card, another like non-sort of starter that makes me play into Droll. Where like at least if I activate like Deceptions, added Hallowed, and I get Drolled on that, I at least get an Omni Negate out of it. But if I Engraver add Tract and I get Drolled on that, I don't get Fiendsmith cards or an Omni Negate, so it's just worse. Then you run the Charmies. These are pretty standard. The Droll is pretty standard. Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom just counters Charmies. That's just fine. Bella, I just this is more into I guess matchup theory, but my worst matchup I think is Lunalight. Not because Lunalight's such a broken deck. It's more like this deck has no inherent way to out Liger Dancer. The other decks in the meta do, Ryziel can do Detonator and Dugaris to make the Detonator huge, and then Liger Dancer can't clear because Detonator will just protect. So just make him into One Punch Man. Malice has the Wicked that protects from card effects. So they can play and play through it like with a Giant Axis Code Talker. So they have sort of ways to play into it in the main. I do not. So Bell is one way to avoid that. Like if they activate Wolf try to like Miracle Fusion, I can Bell the Wolf, and a lot of people don't expect to see Bell in decks at all, much less in the main. So that actually has won me a couple of games with people not expecting it. It also helps against like Bystials, against my Engraver. It helps for things like that. Helps against Malice on some cards from Malice. So there's that, and then there's Trinity. These are pretty self-explanatory. In 60, you'll always draw it because you're a sack. And then End of Anubis. End of Anubis is solely it's plan B if I get drolled or charmed in a way against most of the best decks. Anubis says, well, this card is face up on the field. All cards and effects that target cards in the graveyard or that activate in the graveyard are negated. This is a target off Mannequin Cat. The best decks, the most popular decks in the meta are Malice, Lunalight, some Mitsu pile like Orchid, Fiendsmith. So, or Fiendsmith cards, and almost every major deck with the you can summon. Anakin Cat will summon End of Anubis. Lunalight has no way of playing. All the graveyard effects are shut down for Lunalight. All the graveyard effects are shut down for Mitsu. Orcus, same for Orcus. Fiendsmith, I know this, normally you go to, since it's a fiend, you can summon it off a Fiendsmith summon or like on Lurie summon, and then they can't summon Engraver off it. They can't summon Engraver from Grave, and they can't attach the Requiem, so they have a really hard time outing this. So that's plan B for when I get drolled or whatever. Malice, it's a bit weaker than Malice, but like if a Malice player isn't expecting the card, they can actually play into it. So like if they normal summon a name and like I negate it with like something, a Desiree negate or whatever, the normal summon, they link off into Lingaribo, and then on Lingaribo summon I can target the Lingaribo since it's a dark, special summon of Anubis, and if Anubis is on board, they can't bestial their Malice name because you can't target cards in the graveyard. So then, like, they're kind of stuck. They can't Wicked, the Wizard. Mr. Where's the Wicked? Wizard and Ignister. So you target one Dark Cyrus in your graveyard, special summon this. So, like, it stops that. So that has some value for the deck. And, like, the way they do out is, like, they make SP or something, but then they're using their cards to make SP instead of making Malice cards. So it has, and then like the card should ideally be backed up by Omnis, so you have that going for you as well. So that's the main. The extra deck is too gigantic. You have to run 2 because you use 1 on turn 1 as part of your combo. Then turn 2 is for the follow up to kill. Mannequin Cat, we just talked about that. So it's a plan B. Mosquito's an OTK machine. This deck spits out bodies. So as long as you can make A rank 2, if you make like random bodies that don't usually do anything together, you can at least try to OTK with it. Toad self-explanatory. Sprint's the bridge for the Spright cards, and I can show you in the combo lines how important this is. These are the 2 Azamina fusions. These guys are very important in the deck. They are very one's the Omni, one's basically an extender in the deck, and I can show you I guess how it extends. Sequence, and then Sequence, Requiem, Desiree, Moon. These are the Fiendsmith cards. You do not run Necroquip and Caesar because, 1, there isn't enough room for them, and 2, Sequence is probably the most important card in the extra, and I can show you why in the combo lines. Masquerena IP, or Masquerena SP are end board pieces. Underworld Goddess is the only main deck, actually out in the deck to Liger Dancer. So a lot of people don't play Underworld Goddess, so a lot of Lunalight players don't play around Underworld Goddess. So like they might let me get to maybe they might let me get to a Link 5 on and not Raigeki my board because like none of their cards are a threat to me right now. Then I just link it off. This is kind of a pipe dream, but it is. I just want to have something in case my opponent like doesn't think about it or is bad or whatever. So just an idea. The side deck is Duster. This card could be anything. It's just a spot. I don't know if Duster's particularly good this far yet, but it's a one of. So Meows. This deck, since I don't have the limitation of the hard once per turns that everyone else does, if you let me draw like 4 extra cards, chances are all 4 of those cards will be live. They're either going to be hand traps or engine cards that I can use on your turn to try to break through your board. So I love the Charmies in this deck specifically. There's an argument that these should just be over the bells, but I guess I respected Lunalight a little bit too much. I didn't lose to Lunalight, so there's that going for me. Salesman is a really good card. So as you can tell, like you run a lot of continuous cards like Fateful, the Token, the Deception. So Detonator is really annoying sometimes. So you can Salesman Detonator, and then like if you're playing against Mitsu Raiziel, stopping the Detonator, then all I have is the Mitsurugi cards. Those cards are not that good into this deck at all. Like I had someone make me discard off Amino, and I discarded Angler, and they just lost. from that, or like they made me discard Water Girl. Like, oh thanks, like I don't care if you made me discard that card. So so you mostly just want to have it deal with Detonator, then you can just kill them. Typically, Lancia, that one's self-explanatory. Then Delta and the Cyframe package is not as self-explanatory. So Gamma is just another way of getting called by, because a lot of your first searches in this deck, so the one they would draw you, don't actually have you having a monster. So like if you open like Deception, you can have Deception do it. You can sometimes like you can have Wanted add. You can Gamma them. If you only open Fateful, you can do Fateful, effect a search, and then Gamma. So like it's definitely a little bit of coping. But like, the other reason you run these is because since you're on 60, you really need high impact cards. And the side frames are all really high impact. The problem running 60 is that you're less likely to see your high impact cards. So there's just more of them. Like these are all high impact, and I guess it's technically high impact in a back row deck, but those aren't really real in the format right now. So this is the list. I can show you some like test hands in a bit. But for like if I were to make a change, I might cut one of these. It's definitely the worst starter in the deck. But I don't know what it would be at this point. Underworld Goddess could also get cut. It could be a Link. It could be a Link Spider. Because a lot of times, so Moon needs 2 effect monsters. A lot of times you end up with like a token and a random body, and like the adventure token, and you can't bridge them into anything. Because a lot of times people will like you get the token on board, and then like they'll Ash or negate the Fateful. Now you just have this token you can't really use for anything. Well, you can use them for Sprint, you can use them for Sequence, but you can't use them to get into Moon, which would help facilitate a lot of plays. So maybe this should be a Link Spider. If Lunar Light wasn't a deck, this would probably be a Link Spider. Just for that purpose. It also makes Nibiru into a thing you can use to make Moon. So that would be my idea. So I guess I can give you like a little bit of a deck list. I guess I just like show you a test hand. I'll just assume I drew the worst hand in my deck. This hand's insane, but I will show you the worst. I guess like not a worst hand, but like a very like one card in this deck can do. So we will do. Let's add 4 Charmies and 1 Witch. So I main discard to special Witch effect. It will set Deception, trigger Deception, tribute the Fua, add the Hallowed. Activate Hallowed, send to summon Murcielago, Mu effect. It will add Wanted. Link these 2 off. Summon Moon. I'm on summon 3. Activate the Hallowed Azamina by shuffling this back, then adding this back to hand. Activate the Hallowed Azamina, chain Wanted. Wanted will resolve first, adding Witch. And then Hallowed Azamina resolves, summon the Sylvia. This is my first Omni. I'm on summon 4. This works because cards don't go to the graveyard until the chain resolves, so this can still send this even though it would go to grave naturally by game mechanics effect. I'll link this off into Requiem effect, tag out into Lacrima effect, send Engraver effect, put this back, summon. If you were playing into a board, you could Requiem equip and then send something, but that's not the situation here, so we can link these 2 off. Into Sequence, at this point you can do Wanted, effect to banish, put this to the bottom and draw a card. The reason you're doing this now is because you don't want to actually draw Fiendsmith cards, so we will do that now before we shuffle them back in. That's an insane draw. If I would have opened that with Witch in my start of my turn, I could have popped off even harder. Sequence effect, put these back to summon Desiree. If you notice, I've not normaled, so I'm going to normal summon for turn the Charmy. It could be anything because it's a Link 2, so Link 2 and a random monster to make Sprint. Sprint effect to send Angler. Angler effect to summon Beavers. Sequence effect will attach. So I have 2 Omnis right now at this point, and I'm not locked into anything. So we can do, now I'm about to lock myself, make gigantic effect, detach to summon Swap Frog effect to send, where is it? To the Ice Barrier. There it is. Send the Ice Barrier effect at this, and then activate, special, overlay, make a toad, and then link these 2 off to make IP. So this is your board. So you have Omni, SP. IP into SP. This on standby will detach and summon a Swap Frog. So you can use that with the IP. You can also choose to not do this. Maybe respect thrust or whatever. And you can choose to do IP, send the Desiree, so you have an extra send off when Desiree goes to grave. And then if you notice, like Toad Tribute, add back a Beaver. If this tributes itself as Azamina, you can do Azamina add back. You have a Witch in hand to get back into the Azamina cards. And then like the Beaver will get you into like Beaver and make gigantic to get into Spright cards to OTK. When Desiree goes to grave, you can put Sequence back in deck, so when you do the Fiendsmith line again, and your entire Fiendsmith extra is back in the extra, when you do your Fiendsmith line, you can have Engraver put back the Desiree so you can re-sequence again, or make sequence again. So like this is the theory behind the deck. Notice this is all, like I drew 4 Charmies and a Witch, and this is the board I got off it. So like, and you can, obviously, the more you play, and the more you like, you can start seeing lines. You see lines like that, so this is like the concept behind the deck. It's a lot of fun to pilot. It's it's a lot of freeform play. So like this hand seems suboptimal, and this hand the Griffin Rider is just an extender. So you can do activate effect, tribute, and this. So what happens? So let's say, for example, I got drolled on this spot. So I can do effect special, effects, and this. Summon Sylvia. Bonus pretend I'm under droll. We can do link into sprint effect. Send angler, and I have some protection against some interruption like nib or whatever. That's that play. Link these 2 off into moon. Moon, link off into Requiem. Summon. Where'd it go? Summon Lacrima, send Engraver. We can find it. Then you're back on this idea. Obviously, like, this hand wasn't great to begin with, but because like I opened not much combo and I got drolled. Had I not gotten drolled, it would have been sick, but in this hypothetical I got drolled. And then these 2 can overlay. Gigantic, detach. I'm still under droll in this hypothetical, so what I can do is I can either summon a red and have a red be a negate, or I can summon a new random level 2 and make IP. For IP, send Desiree, so I can double send, and then I have SP. So that's like a decision you can make. I guess like just for the sake of hypothetical, I'll just summon this. Link these 2 off into IP. And then equip. Then under droll you got Desiree, Sylvia, IP into SP, then you have droll for the return. End phase, this can be reset because it was sent from the field by its own effect. So by the effect of another card. So there you go. When this goes to grave, you can Hallowed, add it back, and you can do more plays. So that's just an idea of when you get droll. I'll do one more test hand just to see what I would do, like if I got like drolled or whatever. Let's see, called by. We'll put this one back. We'll just pretend I didn't draw that because that would be the droll. I I don't want to draw any Trinity, so I can just kind of give an idea. So this is just the... I guess I can show what this card on its own does. If you got drawn on this, you would lose, but I think every deck would lose if you open triple Charmy. So I'll just show you what the deck does when it only opens Deception. Sorry, wrong card. Misclick. We are adding this. Activate, send, summon, Murcielago effect, add a wanted. Normal summon here, link into this, to hand, put this back in the extra where it belongs. Activate, chain, add a witch, summon Sylvia, to Requiem effect, and then you can just play from here. There's a lot of cute interactions you can do with this deck, so I'm going to show you one. Put this back, summon, Requiem attach, special witch to send, and then I will set I guess in this situation I would set this, because I plan on drawing a card, so banish, put it to the bottom and draw a card. Have I normal? I have not normal. Oh, I haven't activated a normal summon monster effect, so I could activate this right. Then that's a good draw. So we do these two, make sequence effect, put these back, and then Illisilva. Desiree. Then these two make sprint, and you can go from there. Like I said, this situation has never really come up for me before, so let's just free ball, see what happens. We can do this. Ta-da! Link these two off. Summon Sprint, Chainlink 1 Sprint, Chainlink 2 Fateful Adventure. So we'll add this, send this, summon 2 Beavers. Sequence will attach. We will do effect, add a monster. We'll add the Griffin Rider. And discard this, equip this. We can do display effect, set, detach. Summon Swamp Frog effect, add, link these two off, activate this, summon, and then Griffin is a quick effect during the main phase. So, during the main phase, if you control the monsters or you control the adventure during quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. So on your opponent's turn, so what you can do is standby phase on your opponent's turn, do this, special summon a frog, and then when you either toe tribute to negate something or IP link off, whatever, you'll have an empty space on the board, and then you can do Griffin as another layer of interruption. Obviously, this is like the adventure card showed because I drew into one. Just a draw, but like remember my hand was 3 Charmy, Deception, and a Bell, and I got to this board. Obviously, like if I would have gotten interrupted, it would have been different. Obviously, like in a better hand, you open up more cards, like more pushes. Because if you only opened up Ice Riziel and like 4 hand traps, and you got imprint on your Ice Riziel, you wouldn't say the deck is bad. You just say, I got unlucky on that one. So like you see this one, this has Called By, you can play through a hand trap. This has Hallowed, Azamina, and Seeker, and Wanted to give you early Illisilvia. It sucks that you have 2 normal summons, but like you can make decisions on what you want to do with your deck, or how you want to sequence this. And then like I'll do a quick side deck pattern tutorial. Like, I'm going up against Mitsu Raiziel. Mitsu Raiziel, I probably just do this, and I kind of like it's. We side these out. We side these. We side these two out for sure. We side this. So that's 6 cards clean. Like, you almost always side these out. This is 8 cards. So you side out 1, 1, swap, clean, swap. You don't want these going second. You're drawing a 6th card, so these should so your odds of drawing another one of these engines should be higher. Delta, you want to hit the ritual spell. Gamma, Gamma's always good. Bell's good. It's good into that deck. It is good into that deck. Actually, I'm going against Mitsurai. I probably just want these. Yeah, you could have set a Charmies is the point. So let me reset the deck. I'm going against Malice. I'm going up against Malice. We definitely cut these for these. We definitely add these in. Draw's not usually that good. We definitely take. Oh wait, we take these out. You can set in a Gamma. Gamma just cooks them if they're not expecting it, and then you can add in a Duster. Done. Clean. All your engines there, and you have 6 Charming still. Then Lunalight. Lunalight's a scary matchup, so we definitely take these out. We definitely take these out. We definitely take this out, this out. One of these, because you're siding in pretty much everything because you don't want to get Liger answered. All those, these for sure coming out. Bell stays in, Droll stays in, Ash Blossom stays in. You definitely side these out. What else do you side out in this situation? 1, 2, 3. This is 10 cards. Might have gone a little bit overboard with it. If you can do. I guess you can do this. There you go. And hopefully this will stop him from getting to the card. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then hopefully this just draws you into enough. Yep, you are fine. You were not getting Liger answered. You are fine. And then even before I got the draws, it was still fine. But yeah, no, like I said, Lunalight's probably like the worst matchup for this deck because you don't have a clean out to the card. But like that's Vanquish Soul into Vanquish Soul. You just side in these. For sure, you can cut Bell. Bell doesn't do anything. Cut these. There you go. I know it doesn't do anything to Vanquish Soul cards. So you do these. This is just so you can hit the field spell. The card you're most afraid of is the trap card. So you salesman the trap card so they don't Regeki you on your turn, and then you can Delta hit the field spell so they lose an extender and they lose access. They lose a search and they lose access to the trap. So you can do that. Alright, I think that's for the deck profile and for like a little like display on the deck. Obviously, I think this obviously the regional came like at a sort of dead format. The format is almost over. Justice Hunters is coming out soon. I don't expect Moon to survive a ban list. So hopefully, this is like I guess one last hurrah with the deck that I've kind of been tinkering in the background for fun for the past couple weeks before I tested it before I theorized the deck before Nationals, but I decided I was going to play side events all Nationals, like play half format, have more fun, and try to take it competitively. Hopefully, like, if the deck is legal for after the ban list, maybe I can try to pick it up and tweak it for Yummy, K9, and all the other formats, all the other decks in the format. But this is just a very fun deck, so I would like to see someone try to build a pile like this again. Maybe like one day I can build a Yummy pile. Because one yummy card is full Spright in Yummy combo. Your deck building has to be completely different for that idea, for that theory to work, for that deck to work. But like, it's an option. So hopefully someone picks up the mantle of 60 card piles with Spright cards. All right. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good day.